one battle after another came out. The $100 million plus Paul Thomas Anderson movie was released.
69.
And kind of failed at the box office. It broke Warner Brothers' streak of 40 million plus openings, opened to 20 million and change.
Yeah, 7 films in a row. 7 films in a row.
7 films in a row opened at 40 million plus. One battle after another. Leo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it fell flat. Will it hold? We'll see. Alan and I gave it a very mixed to negative review. And we do that. You know, we will give, we're very honest. We tell you what we think. I never know what Alan's going to think until we do the show. And then we discuss it. We're pretty much in line with each other. I mean, you know, you saw different issues than I did. We both had comments, but, our review, which kind of blew up, I think it's more than 50,000 views, which is big for our channel.
Yeah.
150,000 sub channel, 50,000 view videos, not normal. That's a lot. Now, there were a lot of comments. I'm going to share the comments because let's respond to some of these comments. Yeah. And I'll say this also about this is that, well, I think the comments are a lot from people who don't watch the channel on the regular. Mm-hmm. They don't. There's a different audience of people that watch us live. You are watching this live. If you're watching this later, you're probably watching this from a clip. They are completely different audiences. But let me go through and we'll read some of these and then respond back. Stanley Rogowski. I like Polish. I'm Polish. Hey.
Sounds like a good guy.
Sounds like a good guy. He says both these critics saw Animal House and rooted for Dean Wormer.
No, he's not a good guy.
Now, wait. Let me say to Stanley, that's fair. You didn't agree with our review. Here's what I like. He didn't insult us, didn't use words that were personal attack, and his comment, he expresses his dislike or disagreement with the review while making a clever remark. This is fair. No, thank you, Stanley Rogowski.
It's not fair.
It's not fair?
Look, first of all,
what do you think?
Okay, so I see these comments all the time. It's prejudice. They're making the assumption that because we didn't agree with the politics of the movie, therefore we must like Dean Wormer from Animal House. He prejudged us and gave us this because we all know, as fans of Animal House, we did not root for Dean Wormer. And believe me, this is not the only comment like this. And again, prejudice. They are prejudging us based on the fact that we didn't like the politics of the film.
All right, next comment here. The Anadrome. Is this the most irresponsible movie of the year? That's what I said in my own review. Thanks for agreeing. I'm getting a lot of pushback, but I think you are right. If this film came out in 1998, this would be seen differently. But to release it now, I agree, Anadrome. There are things in this movie that could be considered as morally an issue. Now, I'm not shy about morally, suspect characters. We've seen The Godfather, Godfather 2, right? I do think you see the morality in those characters. Michael Corleone is trying to protect his family. Mm-hmm. And you understand the morality that grounds people in the mafia. They have a code, so to speak, right? And they don't kill people willy-nilly over a political cause. But we've gotten a pushback, I know. And I also think there's something about this movie that if you don't like it and agree with it, you're not a cool hipster like me who's going to go with all the sheep who all say they like it. So I better say I like it because I don't want people to think I'm stupid because I don't like the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I think that's what some people are. Some people are afraid to say they don't like the film,
and
go on like sheep. Alan, please.
Yeah, I mean it's gone even worse. It's, first of all, to disagree, to be against this movie is, no one wants to be linked with MAGA, and so therefore they have to go the other direction, and that's playing it safe. It's like being Emma Watson, or Emily, yeah, and in terms of this response, look, let's also be real. Hollywood has always been liberal, for at least from the 60s to today. They're more likely to take a liberal, democratic stance. And I've certainly experienced that. It was rare for me to ever see a movie that was balanced for both parties, or B, a Republican movie. So there's a long tradition of this, but for some reason, I think it's right. If this had come out in 1998, we'd see things a little bit differently. We'd see it for what it is, like more like the Black Panthers than basically Antifa.
Let's go to the next comment. Both Fletchman says, I don't think your general Joe public would be in favor of a lot of movies what the protagonists engage in. He's quoting us, I think. Do you think the general Joe public is in favor of what the protagonist of Scarface engages in, or in the protagonist of Goodfellas? Well, that was my point earlier about Godfather. Like, we know they're doing bad. They're anti-heroes that do bad, but have a code, right?
Well, and things didn't exactly turn out so well for Scarface.
Yes, I mean, the people in Scarface himself,
there were consequences to their actions.
There are consequences to a lot of the characters in mafia movies. In Godfather, people met their end in grisly ways. Same thing in Scarface. Look at those movies. The characters at the end of one battle after another are like off to another adventure.
Well, no, it's
no
worse.
Consequences.
It's worse. And they lived happily ever after.
It's weird. Let's go to the next comment. From Kirk Plimpton, MD, maybe a doctor. I had some of the same concerns before seeing it, and I was hoping to disagree with you guys for the sake of the actor-director. But damn, you guys are right. If the left thinks this movie has anything insightful to say about the current political climate, they are going the way of the Whig Party. Well, I'll just say that the general public hasn't seen this movie. Normies don't care. It made $20 million at the box office. Kind of a bomb for this type of film based on the cast. Leo, Sean Penn, Benicio, Regina Hall. I mean, so that's all I'm saying. I'm saying is once this gets a nomination for Best Picture, you're going to see normies go, well, I should see the movie that was nominated for Best Picture. Let me rent it or see if it's on whatever streaming service. It's on
remember
Max.
What last year's example of this was? It was Emilia Perez.
Exactly. Once the general public sees the movie, you're going to see that Rotten Tomato score go south real quick.
By the way, that comment was so astute that Dr. Plimpton, you can keep your medical license.
Yes. Zilla Universe says, something tells me you didn't really pay attention to the movie. Yes, accusing us of being stupid, or we're just too blinded on politics to enjoy it. This movie isn't exactly pro-Antifa, as it still paints the main characters as being more morally gray and doing terrible things just for the sake of their cause. Hell, the movie is literally about their daughter's life being torn apart because of her parents' extreme political views.
I believe we saw the same movie then. I mean,
I think you made that comment, but I don't like this thing at the beginning, like, you didn't pay attention, you're stupid. Look, I paid attention. I saw things you didn't see. That's okay. Don't call me stupid. Thank you. David Dillo, extremely frustrating film considering all of his other movies. First time we've truly seen Looney Tunes level evil antagonists from PTA, not characterized as well as of the other antagonists. Another comment, Rick Deckard Blade Runner 2049. Nice name. If you can suspend all political beliefs, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I loved it. I really didn't care about character development for this film. The film started off slow, but the ending totally made up for that. One of the best film endings ever. Paul Thomas Anderson's best film, and I'm more conservative than liberal, but I never watch the news and stay away from politics. So maybe this is why I enjoyed it too. Bonus points if you can have a payphone scene in a movie. Lol. Hey, that's a fair comment. You liked it more than we did, and the politics didn't bother you, and that's fair.
Okay,
Alan, go ahead.
10 out of 10. So perfect movie. And didn't care about the character development. I mean, look, a 10 out of 10 movie has to have at least one thing, and that's character development. This had none. I get that you loved it, but I do believe that I think you're seeing too much good in this in terms of a film, because it's not that great of a film.
Look, I'm not gonna try to convince this Rick Deckard Blade Runner of to change his mind. I'm saying,
but we can have a conversation.
That's okay. You loved it. Appreciate that. We felt differently. That's
but 10 out of 10.
But by the way, we are featuring the calmest of comments here. A lot of comments are show language I don't want to share, and they call names, and that is when you have lost the argument. Mm-hmm. When you call your enemy a name, you have lost the argument, because you're resorting to name calling instead of debating the issue. Let's another comment here. Bass playing Ben. What does it say about audiences and film critics that a film this shallow, with no character development and bad guys that seem to have been written by a high schooler, can be so universally praised? Does no one actually know what a good movie is? Did they ever really? Were the critics faking it the whole time? Alan, your thoughts?
My thoughts? I mentioned it before. I think when you have certain subjects, you have to 100% always like it. You always have to like slave movies. You always have to like civil rights movies. You always have to write feminist movies. Otherwise, you're MAGA. And no one wants to be associated with MAGA.
Another comment here. W.D. Croft, even putting the movie's politics aside, the movie is not good. Don't fall for the marketing. It's P.T. Anderson's worst film in years, and I usually rate him as a writer-director. Bad characterization, cringe dialogue, overlong, poorly paced. It's terrible. Some decent action scenes, but nothing better than Bullet or Heat. Second half of the movie is a cheap ripoff of The Searchers. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's great insight, W.D. Croft. Really wish I had went to see the Spider-Man re-release instead.
I wish
That's
too.
Great. Yeah, and a last comment here from Dana Siad. Sorry if I didn't get that right. People think this movie glorifies Antifa terrorism when most of the crew from the beginning get killed, and Leo spends 16 years raising a daughter in a wooden shack while becoming an alcoholic stoner where all the shit kicks off. I didn't personally leave the theater with any aspirations to join that kind of movement. By the
way, everything described there isn't in the movie.
Yes, but I'll say this. They really do glorify and make them heroes in the first third-ish, maybe 25%.
And at the end.
Yeah, and at the end. Alan, your final thoughts on the comments.
Yeah, I think I said it mostly in there and all of that. It's just
okay.
It's to me, the thing that bothers me most is the prejudice. You just assume because I didn't like the movie, you assume I have certain politics, certain beliefs, certain predilections toward certain characters, and again, that's all prejudice.